I'll write an engaging 800-word story for part 1. First contact using simple English, third-person perspective, and Korean names as requested. Here's the story. Aliens attempted to take over Earth, but gravity had other plans. The stars twinkled peacefully above Seoul as Dr. Gina Kim worked late in her laboratory. Her computer screens showed gravity readings from around the world. Something strange had been happening for weeks. The numbers didn't make sense. These readings can't be right, she whispered to herself. The gravitational fluctuations were small but consistent. Nobody else seemed worried, but Gina knew something was wrong. At the same time, General Taeho Park sat in a military meeting room, looking at satellite images. Strange objects had appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system 3 months ago. They moved in ways that normal space objects shouldn't. Whatever these things are, they're getting closer, Taeho told the room of serious-faced officers. And they're speeding up. Nobody wanted to say the word aliens. It sounded silly, like something from movies. But what else could explain what they were seeing? Across the world, other scientists and military experts noticed the same things. Some people laughed it off. Others worried quietly. Most people went about their normal lives, not knowing anything was happening. One night, Gina was working even later than usual. Her phone rang. It was her old college friend Sunwoo. "Gina, turn on your TV right now." Sunwoo's voice shook. Gina clicked on the news. What she saw made her drop her coffee mug. It shattered on the floor, but she didn't even notice. A massive ship hung in the sky above New York City. It was clearly not made by humans. It was shaped like a giant disk with strange lights glowing around its edges. The news showed more ships appearing over other major cities around the world. "It's happening," she whispered. The world changed in that moment. Humans were no longer alone in the universe. In the following days, more ships arrived. They positioned themselves over major cities on every continent. Seoul had 3 ships hovering above it. They were silent. They didn't communicate. They just watched. World leaders tried to make contact. They sent radio signals, light signals, even old-fashioned paper messages tied to balloons. Nothing worked. The ships stayed silent. "They're studying us," Gina explained to General Taeho when she was called to a special meeting. "They're learning about us before they make their move." "What move do you think they'll make?" Taeho asked, his face grim. "I don't know, but these gravity readings suggest they're from a place very different from Earth. Their home must have much less gravity than we do." A week after the ships first appeared, they finally made contact. Every electronic device on Earth, phones, computers, TVs, radios, suddenly showed the same message. "People of Earth, we are the Raxians. Your planet has resources we need to survive. We will take what we need. Resistance will cause unnecessary suffering. Cooperation will be rewarded." The message repeated in every language. Then the screens went dark. Panic spread across the world. Some people ran to the countryside. Others stocked up on food and water. Many prayed. General Taeho and other military leaders prepared for a fight, though they knew Earth's weapons might be useless against such advanced technology. Dr. Gina worked, day and night, studying the gravity readings. "If they come from a low-gravity world, Earth might be hard for them physically," she explained to Taeho. "Our gravity might be their weakness." 3 days after the message, the ships opened. Smaller craft flew out, heading down to Earth's surface. They landed in open areas near cities. The doors opened, and the Raxians stepped out. They were tall and thin with pale blue skin. They wore shiny suits that seemed to hug their bodies. They had large eyes and small mouths. They looked almost fragile. And then something unexpected happened. As the first Raxians stepped onto Earth's soil, they immediately collapsed. Their thin legs buckled under them. They tried to stand but couldn't. Some crawled back to their ships. Others lay on the ground, clearly in pain. Around the world, the same thing was happening. The aliens couldn't handle Earth's gravity. "I was right," Gina said, watching the news footage. "They evolved on a world with less gravity. Earth's pull is too strong for them." The Raxians quickly retreated to their ships. The ground invasion had failed within minutes. But Gina knew this wasn't over. They'll adapt, she warned Taiho. They have advanced technology. They'll find a way to deal with our gravity. Then, we need to be ready when they come back, Taiho replied. As night fell, the alien ships glowed brighter in the sky. Inside them, the Raxians were planning their next move. They had underestimated Earth's gravity, but they wouldn't make the same mistake twice. The battle for Earth had only just begun. For the second part of your story, I'll write an engaging 800-word continuation focusing on the initial alien assault. Using simple English and third-person style with Korean names as requested, the Raxians didn't give up easily. For 3 days after their failed landing, their ship stayed silent. People on Earth began to hope the aliens might leave. But Dr. Gina Kim knew better. They're planning something, she told General Taiho as they watched the ships from the military command center in Seoul. They're smart. They'll find a way around the gravity problem. She was right. On the 4th day, the alien ships moved. They spread out, taking positions high above Earth's atmosphere. Then small objects began falling from them. What are those? Asked Captain Minho, pointing at the radar screen. Some kind of pods, answered General Taiho. Thousands of them. The pods landed in fields and forests, away from cities. When they opened, new Raxian soldiers emerged. These aliens wore bulky mechanical suits that covered their entire bodies. The suits had thick legs and wide feet to support them against Earth's strong gravity. They've built exoskeletons, Gina said, watching the live footage. The suits helped them stand up against our gravity. The alien soldiers moved slowly, but they could walk now. They carried strange weapons that glowed with blue light. They began marching toward the nearest cities. General Taiho sent tanks and soldiers to meet them. The human forces took positions on hills overlooking the fields where the aliens marched. Don't fire until I give the order, Taiho radioed to his troops. The aliens kept coming. Their heavy steps shook the ground. When they were 500 meters away, the first alien raised its weapon. A flash of blue light shot out, hitting a tank. The tank didn't explode. Instead, it slowly sank into the ground as if the earth beneath it had turned to water. Fire, Taiho ordered. Human tanks and guns opened fire. Bullets hit the alien suits, making sparks fly. Some aliens fell, but many kept coming. Their weapons fired again, making the ground under the human soldiers soft. Some men sank up to their knees. They're changing gravity in small areas, Gina realized. Making it stronger or weaker. The battle raged for hours. Similar fights broke out around the world. The aliens had better weapons, but they moved slowly in their heavy suits. Human soldiers could run and hide, then attack from new positions. In Seoul, a group of aliens cornered Captain Minho and his team in an office building. The aliens tried to follow them inside, but something unexpected happened. As the first alien stepped through the doorway, its suit began to shake violently. The suits can't adjust quickly to different surfaces, Minho radioed back to headquarters. They're calibrated for outdoor terrain. This gave the humans an advantage. They lured aliens into buildings, underground tunnels, and upstairs. In these places, the alien suits malfunctioned or moved too slowly to be effective. But the aliens were learning fast. By the end of the first day of fighting, they had taken control of several small towns. They set up strange machines that seemed to reduce gravity in small areas. Inside these zones, the aliens removed their bulky suits and moved freely, almost floating above the ground. Dr. Gina visited one battlefield after the fighting stopped. She brought special equipment to measure gravity. What she found surprised her. Their technology isn't perfect, she told Taiho that night. The suits and gravity machines need constant adjustment. Earth's gravity isn't just strong, it's complex. It changes slightly from place to place because of differences in the density of Earth's crust. This gave Gina an idea. She worked through the night with a team of scientists. By morning, they had designed a new weapon. It didn't shoot bullets or bombs. Instead, it created rapid fluctuations in the local gravitational field. This should disrupt their suits and machines, she explained as soldiers attached the devices to their vehicles. They tested the weapon later that day when aliens attacked a military base. As the gravity fluctuated, the alien suits began to malfunction. Some aliens fell to the ground. Others couldn't control their weapons properly. For the first time, the humans won a clear victory. But their celebration was short-lived. That evening, all the alien ships changed position. They formed a ring around Earth. Then they began dropping much larger objects, not soldier pods, but massive structures. "What are they doing now?" asked General Taiho. Gina studied the readings on her tablet. Her face grew pale. "They're building something big," she said. "I think they're trying to change Earth's gravity on a much larger scale." The aliens had lost the first battles, but the war for Earth was just beginning. And now the Raxians were changing their strategy completely. The massive structures that the Raxians dropped from their ships formed a ring around Earth. Each structure looked like a tall metal tower with a glowing blue orb at the top. The towers emitted strange energy waves that scientists couldn't identify. Dr. Gina and her team worked day and night to understand what these towers were doing. After 3 days of constant monitoring, she figured it out. "They're trying to create low-gravity zones," she explained to General Taiho. "Each tower affects an area about 5 kilometers wide. Inside these zones, gravity is reduced to match their home planet. Satellite images showed the aliens building bases inside these zones. Without the heavy suits, they moved quickly and gracefully. They floated and jumped as if they were barely touching the ground. They're adapting to Earth by changing it to match their needs," Taiho said grimly. "The human military tried to destroy the towers, but the aliens defended them fiercely. Their weapons were most effective near the towers where they could move freely. Several human attacks failed with heavy losses. We need a new approach," Taiho told his officers during an emergency meeting. Lieutenant Do-hyun, a young Special Forces officer, raised his hand. "What if we go in disguised as aliens? Their suits would protect us from their weapons and we could get close to the towers." The plan was dangerous, but they had few options. Do-hyun and 5 soldiers were chosen for the mission. They would infiltrate a Raxian base in the mountains where the aliens had built one of their largest low-gravity zones. Technician Yoonji helped modify captured alien suits for the human team. "These controls are designed for their 3-fingered hands," she explained as she rewired the gloves. "I've simplified them for you." The night before the mission, Do-hyun visited Dr. Gina's lab. "What should we look for inside?" he asked. "Find their control center," she said. "We need to know how the towers work and, more importantly, what their final goal is. These towers must be part of a bigger plan." Under the cover of darkness, Do-hyun's team approached the alien base. They wore the modified Raxian suits, moving awkwardly but passively like the aliens. At the perimeter, a Raxian guard waved them through, mistaking them for returning patrol members. Inside the low-gravity zone, Do-hyun felt strange. His body suddenly weighed much less. Each step sent him floating upward. His team struggled to walk normally. "Move slowly," he whispered through their private radio channel. "Let the suits handle the adjustments." The base was larger than they expected. Hundreds of Raxians moved around, building more structures. Do-hyun noticed that many looked sick. Despite the adjusted gravity, something was affecting them. Following Gina's directions, the team located a large central building. Inside, they found what looked like a command center. Alien symbols flashed on large screens, showing maps of Earth. While his team kept watch, Do-hyun connected a small device to the alien computers. The device, built by Dr. Gina, would copy their data and translate their language. Suddenly, alarms blared. A Raxian officer had spotted them. Their cover was blown. "Run!" Do-hyun shouted. The team fled, using the low gravity to make huge leaps toward the exit. Alien weapons fired behind them, but the modified suits protected them. As they reached the edge of the low-gravity zone, they felt the sudden weight of normal Earth gravity. 2 team members collapsed under the sudden change, their suits failing. "Leave the suits," Do-hyun ordered. They abandoned the heavy equipment and ran for the extraction point where helicopters waited. Only 4 of the 6-person team made it back to Seoul, but the information they brought was worth the sacrifice. Dr. Gina spent days analyzing the data. "It's worse than we thought," she finally told General Taiho. "The towers are just the first phase. They're building a massive device that will alter Earth's gravity permanently. They plan to reduce our planet's gravity to match their homeworld. What would that do to Earth? Taiho asked. It would be catastrophic, Gina said. Our atmosphere would dissipate into space. The oceans would begin to boil away. Most Earth life would die, including humans. How long do we have? The device is almost complete. Once all towers are functional, they'll activate it. We have maybe 2 weeks. Taiho looked at the map showing the growing number of alien towers around the world. Then we have 2 weeks to find a way to stop them. Dr. Gina nodded. I have an idea, but it's risky. If the Raxians can't handle our gravity, perhaps we can use that against them even more effectively. As they spoke, more alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere. The Raxians were bringing reinforcements. Time was running out for humanity. Dr. Gina's idea was bold but dangerous. She explained it to General Taiho in a room full of military leaders and scientists. Earth's core creates our magnetic field and affects our gravity, she said, pointing to diagrams on the screen. The Raxians struggle with our gravity because their bodies evolved for a much weaker pull, but there's something else affecting them too. She showed pictures of sick Raxians that Lieutenant Doyun's team had captured during their mission. Their bodies are reacting badly to the specific frequency of Earth's gravitational field. It's not just the strength of our gravity, it's the unique way it vibrates that makes them ill over time. Engineer Sunwoo stepped forward. We've designed devices that can amplify these natural frequencies. If we can boost what's already making them sick, we might disable them completely. General Taiho studied the plans. How many of these amplifiers would we need? At least 12, positioned strategically around the world, Gina answered, and they must be activated simultaneously. The plan was approved. Teams in different countries began building the amplifiers. They worked around the clock, racing against time. The Raxian gravity towers now numbered over 100, and their massive central device was nearly complete. While the amplifiers were being built, the aliens launched a new attack. This time they targeted Earth's leadership. Special Raxian forces attacked government buildings in major capitals. They wore new suits that seemed to work better in Earth's gravity. In Seoul, General Taiho barely escaped when aliens broke into military headquarters. He and Dr. Gina fled to a backup facility hidden in the mountains. They're trying to cut off our command structure before they activate their device, Taiho said. The first amplifier was tested in a small town that the Raxians had occupied. When activated, it sent waves through the ground that made the aliens' suits malfunction. Many Raxians collapsed, unable to move. Others retreated in panic. It works, Gina reported, but the effect is limited to about 3 kilometers. We need all 12 amplifiers working together to create a global effect. Getting the amplifiers to their positions became the most dangerous mission yet. The Raxians seemed to know what humans were planning. They attacked transport vehicles and shot down aircraft carrying the devices. Pilot Junho volunteered to fly the most critical amplifier to its position in the Pacific Ocean. His small plane was painted to look like a civilian aircraft. If I fly low over the water, their sensors might miss me, he told Dr. Gina before taking off. Junho's flight was spotted halfway to its destination. 3 alien craft pursued him. He flew between islands trying to lose them. When that failed, he sent a desperate message. I won't make it to the drop zone. I'm activating the amplifier here and now. His plane descended to just above the ocean surface. The aliens fired, hitting one wing. As the plane began to spin, Junho pressed the activation button on the amplifier. Then his radio went silent. The amplifier, though not in its ideal position, began working. Its effects reached a nearby Raxian base. Aliens there experienced intense pain as the gravitational frequencies bombarded their bodies. Their ships lost control, crashing into the ocean. When the news reached Seoul, the mood was both sad and hopeful. Junho proved the amplifiers can work against their ships too, not just their ground forces, General Taiho said. But we still need to get the remaining amplifiers in position. Time was running out. The Raxians' central device was complete. It stood like a massive tower in what was once the Amazon rainforest, surrounded by low-gravity zones. Satellite images showed energy building up inside it. They're going to activate it within 24 hours, Gina warned. In a final, desperate push, 11 of the 12 amplifiers reached their positions. Teams around the world waited for the signal to activate them, but the 12th amplifier, meant for Antarctica, was still en route. Without it, the network would have a gap. The system might fail. We can't wait, General Taiho decided. We have to activate what we have now. As Dr. Gina prepared to send the activation signal, an unexpected message came in. It was from a research station in Antarctica. "This is Dr. Minseo at Jangbogo Station," a woman's voice said. "We've built our own version of the amplifier using your plans. It's crude, but it might work." Gina quickly sent them the activation codes. All 12 positions would be covered after all. "Activate in 3, 2, 1, now," she commanded. Around the world, the amplifiers hummed to life. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then slowly, reports began coming in. Raxian soldiers were collapsing. Their ships were losing altitude. Their gravity towers were shutting down. The tide had turned. But the alien's central device was still powering up. The final battle for Earth had begun. The ground shook as the 12 amplifiers boosted Earth's natural gravitational frequencies to maximum power. All across the world, Raxian soldiers fell to the ground, unable to move. Their suits sparked and smoked. The pain of Earth's enhanced gravity was too much for their bodies. In space, the massive alien ships began losing control. Their engines failed as the gravitational waves disrupted their power systems. Several smaller ships crashed into oceans and deserts. The larger vessels drifted, powerless. But in the Amazon, the Raxian's central device continued powering up. Its own gravity field protected it from the effects of the amplifiers. Blue energy spiraled up its massive tower, growing brighter by the minute. "We're too late," Gina whispered, watching satellite images from the mountain bunker. "Their device is about to activate." General Taiho refused to give up. "Can we increase the amplifier's power?" "They're already at maximum," said Engineer Sun Wu. "If we push them harder, they'll burn out." "Then we need to hit their device directly," Taiho decided. "We still have missiles, but conventional weapons had already failed against the device's protective field. They needed something different, something that could penetrate the Raxian defenses. "What if we reverse the amplifiers?" Gina suddenly suggested. "Instead of boosting Earth's gravity globally, we could focus all their energy on one spot, like a gravitational lens." It was their last hope. The scientists quickly reconfigured the amplifier network. Instead of sending waves outward, they would direct all their power toward the Amazon. "This will burn out the entire network," Sun Wu warned. "We'll get one shot." On screens around the world, military and civilian leaders watched as the alien device reached critical power. The blue energy at its top formed a pulsing ball that grew larger every second. In 15 minutes, it would activate and change Earth's gravity forever. "All amplifiers are reconfigured," reported a technician. "Ready on your command." General Taiho looked at Gina. She nodded. "Do it." The 12 amplifiers hummed louder than ever before. The energy they generated no longer spread across Earth. Instead, it converged on a single point, the Raxian device in the Amazon. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then the blue energy ball at the top of the alien tower began to flicker. Small cracks appeared in the tower's structure. In orbit, the supreme commander of the Raxian fleet, Valix, watched in horror as his gravity device began to fail. Earth's gravitational lens was crushing it from all sides. The device was designed to modify gravity, not withstand it being weaponized. "Abandon the device," he ordered his troops. "Return to the ships immediately." The Raxians fled their base, rushing toward evacuation craft, but Earth's amplified gravity slowed them down. Many couldn't reach safety in time. With a blinding flash, the Raxian device imploded. The concentrated gravitational pressure crushed it into itself. The resulting explosion leveled trees for kilometers around, but the device was destroyed. When the dust settled, the alien threat seemed defeated. The surviving Raxian ships were drifting helplessly in space. Their ground forces were incapacitated. Then, Valix made his final move. Using the last of his flagship's power, he directed it toward Seoul, Earth's most populated city. If the invasion had failed, he would at least have revenge. Massive ship on collision course with Sol, shouted a radar operator. Impact in 7 minutes. There was no time to evacuate. Millions would die when the ship hit. The amplifiers are burnt out, Sunwoo reported. We can't create another gravitational lens. But one amplifier was still functioning, the makeshift one built by Dr. Minseo in Antarctica. It wasn't powerful enough to stop the ship, but it might change its course. Direct all its power at the lead edge of the ship, Gina instructed. As the Raxian flagship entered the atmosphere, it began to glow red hot. The single amplifier hit it with a focused gravity wave. It wasn't enough to destroy the massive vessel, but it pushed against one side, slowly altering its trajectory. The ship's hull groaned under the uneven gravitational pressure. Pieces began breaking off. Then, with a tremendous crack, the entire front section separated from the rest. The flagship broke apart high above the Korean peninsula. Instead of hitting Seoul, the fragments fell into the sea, creating massive waves but sparing the city. In the weeks that followed, Earth began to recover. The remaining Raxian ships retreated from the solar system. Those aliens stranded on Earth surrendered. Dr. Gina led the team studying the alien technology. What they learned would transform human understanding of gravity and space travel. They came to take our world, she told General Taiho as they watched engineers dismantle a Raxian gravity tower. But instead, they gave us the stars. 6 months later, the first human ship using modified Raxian technology lifted off. Captain Minho and Dr. Minseo were among its crew. Their mission, to explore the galaxy and ensure that Earth would never again be caught unprepared. Earth's gravity, once the planet's greatest weakness against invasion, had become humanity's greatest strength.